What type of style does Coach Robinson want to instill in this team? A team that, for my money, has a wonderful mix of veterans, but a lot of youth, and I think it is the right mix. You mentioned Nigel Rio Coker, you mentioned Kenny Miller. We talked about the young guys and also Laba coming over. What does he want to play? An up-tempo, Martin? Does he want to play a 4-4-2? What does he want to play?
Looks like it's going to be a 4-2-3-1 and probably a possession-focused system. So quick pass and move, not unlike the way Robinson himself liked to play. Keep it simple, move the ball quickly, spread the field. I think that is the way that they're looking to play. Of course, it's one thing to do it in preseason and talk about it in theory. It'll be interesting to see how that philosophy stands up under pressure. If they have a couple of bad results, do they go to a more traditional English style attack of long ball and more direct route one style. So it'll be interesting to see whether he can stick with that, and not only stick with it individually, but get his players to buy into it. All the players are saying the right things. They're saying that they buy into it right now. I think a lot of players are happy to try and really give this a go, because if you can get a good pass and move system going, you can really dominate your opponents when it comes to possession. If you have the ball more than your opponent, generally you will win in soccer.
Martin, a lot of issues in the offseason for the Vancouver Whitecaps, for Bobby Leonarduzzi, for now head coach Carl Robinson with Camilo. We know that story. And I had a smile on my face today finding out that Eric Hasseley is no part anymore of FC Dallas. And I was thinking of the Vancouver Whitecaps fans, and I thought, wow, look at how this is all unfolded. No Camilo, Hasseley is out. And to me, I'm thinking that the Vancouver Whitecaps might have a very strong and surprising season. Seeing that Seattle hasn't done very much, the Portland's going to have the pressure to get back to where they are and move ahead. San Jose really hasn't done very much. LA is LA. It looks like Vancouver can actually make some noise quietly without anyone having them on their radar list.
I think, you make a good point in that they are off the radar a bit here. I think a lot of people are not expecting much from them, and that includes fans in the city. I think there's a perception that this is a rebuilding year, but the reality is, with the players they've brought in, it could be argued that they're better on paper than they were last year. I think Laba and Morales particularly are going to turn what was previously an area of weakness in midfield into a strength. I mean, if you've got Rio Coker, Laba, and Morales, those three guys in the heart of your team, you're not going to find many teams with a better heart than that. And that'll allow them to keep possession, and not only keep possession, but use it meaningfully. So I think that the biggest question will be this team probably will generate chances, but will there be the finish up top? And I think that's where the real question marks are. But I think you are right when you say that this team is flying under the radar for a lot of people, but I don't think that's a bad thing for Carl Robinson at all, because I don't think the pressure is really there in the same way that it was in Martin Rennie's second season. After they qualified for the playoffs in 2012, the expectation was that they would go on and advance from that to make the playoffs once again, and maybe even advance to the second round. The idea of not making the playoffs just wasn't really acceptable, and that's why Martin Rennie was eventually fired. But so I think you do make a good point. I think the pressure is off, but I think this team is capable, certainly, of getting to the playoffs.
Martin, as we close it out, I can't let you go without giving me a prediction. Do you see the Vancouver Whitecaps getting back into the playoffs, or do you see them just missing out?
I think they'll get in. I think they'll sneak in probably in one of those final two spots. And I didn't have that feeling last year, I'll be honest. A lot of people were saying that they would, but I do think that they're just going to sneak in.